Yet another challenge for Nigeria's COVID-19 response. A widely perceived belief among some Nigerians that COVID-19 is not real is part of what authorities and Nigerians are reeling about. Now, this is a total disregard of safety protocols and a rise in the number of cases. Now, only those who have been there can say what they saw and can testify better. Now, joining me on Skype is ace comedian and chairman of the post-COVID-19 committee for the creative industry in Nigeria, Ali Baba. Ali, good morning. It's good to see you. It's good to have you join me this morning.
Good morning. It's great to be alive.
Great. Of course, we thank God that you are alive and you continue to be alive. Now, your story has gone viral regarding your experience at the isolation center or through the process of recovery and all of that. Right now, talk to us basically from the moment that you discovered you were feeling uncomfortable. How did you follow up with the process?
Well, it first started with very short coughs. I was coughing and I felt uneasy. And then I thought I had cough. So I was taking some lozenges for it. Well, like I mentioned, the brand, I was taking some Strepsil for it, you know. And after a while, I started having feverish feelings. But I've been on the road for a bit. I've been traveling for a bit, and I'm very cautious. I wear hand gloves. I do social distancing. I wear my face mask, and I do hand washing every now and then. I sanitize. So it didn't cross my mind that could be it. Then I started feeling some weaknesses. I'll take like the first flight of stairs, and I'll be out of breath. So those short breaths were what really gave me the clue. So I called the doctor. I said, can I take my test? And he said, when did you come back from Dubai? I told him. He said, okay, then go take the test. So he came and took the test. 24 hours later, he called me and said, you're positive, you know, because of how this thing is. I said, okay, so that means I don't have. He said, no, that you have COVID. I said, but I've taken all necessary precautions. You know, in any case, I said, so what should I do? He said, okay, he would monitor me. So he came to the house and was monitoring me and was doing contact tracing. Who are the people that have been close to you? Who have you reached out to? Who have talked with you? And all of that was going on. And I now decided, I said, okay, what I will do is I will go to the isolation center because I wasn't feeling too good. So I went to the isolation center. That was when the doctor said, I will have to get you a room. I said, why? He said, your oxygen is below 90. And I was like, I'm breathing good. He said, no, that's good. And man, in less than 3 hours, my brother, I had gone down from several bottles of oxygen. And it was then I saw the difference between 90 and 99 in my SpO2. The SpO2 is how much oxygen you have in your blood system, and it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke.
Now, how when your family heard this, how did they take it, and how did they support you?
Okay, so first thing was that we had to then do a test for everybody in the family, and so we did a test for everybody, and it turned out that it was just me, my driver, and the security that were positive. My managers and assistants did not have it, and the children did not have it. So I had to isolate myself from them first of all. As soon as their own test came through, I isolated myself from them. My family was like, let's just keep it quiet and go to the isolation center, recover, and then we can then begin to reach out to. So once I then went to the isolation center, my family was supportive, and we started doing the contact tracing, and doctors then took over.
When it comes to the process and the care and the maintenance of all of that within the isolation center, give us a preview of what it is like, because we hear that in some of the isolation centers there are no equipment, they have shortage of different things, and others we hear that they are properly taken care of. What was your own experience?
My experience was okay. They were properly taken care of. What was missing? You know, when you see the doctors in the overall, the PPE, overall covered everywhere, that was what was missing. But because they were just working with the basic face mask and hand gloves. So that I think needs to be sorted out, because I think they need help. And a lot of them are working with such minimum protection, and they need all the help that they can get. They need all the help they can get. That is a problem that I saw. And I think that a direct help to those centers, because some of the doctors are leaving. They are short-staffed. Some of the doctors are leaving. And then some of the nurses also need to be better trained and equipped. But the center that I was at, they did as much as they could.
All right. Now, when it comes to the information about COVID-19, a lot of people say, of course, there is enough information out there, but whether it is information fatigue, where they've had enough of it and too much of it, and then it becomes normal and is no longer having effect, where people are not adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. We recall during the Christmas period, during the Yuletide, where a lot of people, in fact, the videos of people at the beach went viral, and people were, are you kidding me? So I wonder what you make of that. Is it a product of not so much inadequate enlightenment, or is it just ignorance? Or maybe people don't just care?
Well, there's several things. One, illiteracy is there. The second one is poor information dissemination by government. The third one is believability of the information protocols by citizens. Citizens don't trust government anymore. The fourth one will then be poverty. Poverty is everywhere. Everybody wants to just survive. And when people are in survival mode, they don't want to see reason. Then the fifth one is the fear of or stigmatization. Let me just say stigmatization. People think that if you come out and say you have COVID, it's like you have HIV. There are presidents of countries that have had it, the governors that have had it, there are celebrity stars, billionaires, and people are dying. You know, so the biggest problem is the problem of saying I have it or I had it and I'm going through this process. And then those people in self-denial are also part of the problem. The people who are in self-denial are people who do not want to share their experiences. Just see, because I mentioned this, there's some people with conspiracy theories that are saying, oh, maybe he has been paid to say it. That is where I get off. That's where I don't even want to even butter off anything. Like I said, I'm not going to beg you to say COVID. If you believe there's no COVID, then go ahead. When it comes to you or your family, your eye will clear. So what I'm trying to say is, it is important for those messages to go out. But the believability of it has been such a case that it's a consequence of how information has been passed to so many people, and so people do not believe. But truly now, it is being brought home to so many people that are close to us that it is now being accepted even more, because more people are coming out to say, I had it, I've had it. There are people that are reaching out to me that had it in June. Some even had it twice. There are some people who have lost loved ones but did not mention it. So and then in the villages, Warri, Agbara, Ureli, Port Harcourt, and there are people who still carry on like that. There's nothing like that. And so, and don't forget that it is who comes out to do a test that becomes a statistic. So people who are not coming out to test are many. There are more people out there who are asymptomatic that are going about like there's nothing and spreading this. That is the danger.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of your efforts. You are the chairman of a COVID-19 committee in the creative industry. Talk to us about what you're doing in that area so people can have an understanding from that window.
Okay, so what we're doing now is that we're creating awareness. Root Boy, or that's Paul of P Square, has
All right. I guess your audio has frozen there.
got out. Spread the word. Let people know that this thing is real. Let people know that this thing is real. Make sure every opportunity you have, every night.
All right, Ali, we're losing your audio. We are losing your audio, but we'll come back. Now, Ali, sorry, we lost your audio at a certain time. You mentioned Root Boy. What is it doing? What's the aspect of his area of you're mentioning him?
Well, he has COVID,
Okay.
and I think he's isolated, and he's dealing with it. Paul Okoye is dealing with it, and he's had it for about like 12 days now, or 13 days since the last time I spoke with him. Azados also had it. The AIG Alakwini had it, and he recovered. We've lost a lot of people. We lost Ubon King. We've lost quite a lot of friends. And so, what as a member of the COVID committee, it is important for us in the entertainment industry to put the word out, let people know. If anybody says, "Oh, somebody was paid to spread the message," no problem. What I've said before is there's no need to butter it up. There's no need to hide it. There's no need to be afraid of somebody saying you have COVID. It's not AIDS. It is a common disease right now, and it's killing people. Presidents have had it. Governors have had it. And another thing that I say is, if billionaires are dying, I will tell you that there are poor people and less privileged people that are dying even more, but their news and their situation is not reported. Their situation is not reported. And then the poor people are not going to the hospital to do tests because they are self-medicating. And the people who are self-medicating, a lot of them are the ones spreading this even more.
It's really terrible to imagine from that window where a lot of people could be home with COVID-19 and they are infecting others and they're not coming out to say anything. Now, from your perspective, what do you think we can do more than what we are doing right now? There's some persons have recommended enforcement, strict enforcement, where law enforcement agencies have to be in public places one way or the other. But others are saying if you do that, that is going to take out the rights of the people to move and express themselves and all of that. What do you think?
You see, when you hear of the word emergency, it cancels out a lot of rights and privileges. That's why when you have a curfew, it limits movement of people. When you have a lockdown, it reduces movement of people. As soon as the new strain of COVID showed up with the vendors that it showed up with, Spain, France, and all those places around Germany were all locking down people who were coming from UK. But you see, we were still accepting people in Nigeria. What we need to do is we need to leave all these sentiments. If it's something that will make people stay alive, we understand that there's poverty, we understand there's hardship. But anything that needs to make people remain alive, and that's why I accept. I just love the way the governor dealt with the issue of people who went to some Queen's Park event center. All the beaches in Lagos, Elegushi, Bakwa Bay, just landmark, all those places just shut everything down, because the videos that are coming from those places just means that it's a super spreader. And the super spreader would always continue to make the numbers high. Like the commissioner said, he will not invent numbers from anywhere like Trump wanted numbers invented. He can't invent numbers. It's the people who come forward to do the test that will be recorded. And in truth, it's under recorded because people are not coming out to do tests. If you come out to do a test, that is when they will know that you have. I was speaking with a friend about 3 days ago. I said, just go and do your test. He went and did it and found out that all that feverish feeling she thought she had COVID.
All right.
So passing the message on is the biggest thing we need to do right now.
As it is right now, some people are recommending a second lockdown, as it is done in some parts of Europe. The UK and some other countries are suffering from a new variant. Here back in Nigeria, we have the second wave, and they're calling for a lockdown as a way of preempting what could happen. I wonder what you make of this.
It's totally welcome, totally welcome. But in the face of our poor economic standing, and remember the palliative matter, people are not. They were not doing well before COVID came, and we have a society where like 70% of the society survive on a daily basis, on the daily income. And so when you then go on to do a lockdown, well, government is even looking to borrow money. So where would they then find money to then take care of people who are in lockdown mode? So that is the challenge that we have. But I think I welcome a lockdown and a total lockdown so that this thing can reduce and we can begin to reduce the numbers. Because right now the numbers are high. It's just that people are not going for testing. It is not that it is not there. COVID is out there. People are not testing. And so if they don't test, you will not know who has it. People are walking around. And that's why people are dropping dead. So people do not know. Then by the time they find out that they have been infected by COVID, it's either too late or then it becomes a severe case. My case, I dealt with it immediately and went into isolation. I spent Christmas and New Year at the Yaba Isolation Center. Somebody was telling me, so why didn't you record to show that there were people that were suffering there? So if you have a family member that is going through such horrors, then Ali Baba carries camera and is recording your family to prove to people outside. That is how the gullibility and stupidity of some people is not even just about ignorance anymore. It's stupidity of some people. Like I've said, if anybody that says that there's no COVID, I wish it upon their family. I wish it upon their family because there's no need to be bothering. There's no need to be bothering it up again.
Yeah, but Ali, the point there is, the point there is it could just be ignorance on their own part, not understanding the dynamics and how it goes.
It's stupidity. It's gone beyond ignorance. It's stupidity in the face of scientific facts and in the face of there was somebody who was telling me the other day that there's no COVID. I think about like 4 weeks ago, sent me a message 2 nights ago and said, which doctor can we call at the COVID center? I said, what happened? Her cousin has COVID. I said, oh, so there's COVID now. He said, Ali, leave that matter. Just give me the number first. But you see, that kind of person will not go and tell other people that, no, I now believe.
It's quite disturbing, though. The issue of vaccine, Nigerians are expecting, the government is expecting its own shipment of vaccine into the country sometime this month or maybe next month or maybe later in the year. We don't know, but sometime we're expecting the vaccine. But when it comes to the administration of vaccines in Nigeria, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, we have a track record of distributing vaccines from the days of polio and all of the 6 killer diseases for children and all of that. But the specification for especially the Pfizer vaccine that requires a storage, that has to be at a certain temperature. I wonder what concerns you have if we have that kind of infrastructure to maintain and manage that kind of vaccine.
You see, the beautiful thing is that medicine and science have come to rescue a lot of people. You know, I wear glasses. So glasses help me to see better. Vaccines are just the same. If you have a medical condition, anything that can help you to be better is accepted. If you have issues with having children, you do IVF. If you have a problem with your heart, you do heart transplant. You do so a medical intervention is not a problem. It doesn't have nothing to do with your religion. Medical intervention is anything that can keep you alive. So vaccination, when we were young, all the Sunday medicine and malaria vaccination that we were given, was to just give us a fighting chance. That's the word I was looking for. Vaccination gives you a fighting chance. It will not be 90%, but it builds your immunity to the point that you sustain it and you can withstand a lot of other things. The reason I believe, and some of the professors have also proven, is that the numbers are reduced in Nigeria because the straits of COVID and malaria are closed. And it must mean that our fighting chance has been those vaccinations we got when we were younger against malaria. So that is what is saving Africa, really. The vaccination we have, we built up so much immunity against malaria and all its symptoms. So it is helping us. So for me, whatever can be done, if the vaccination comes now and it is something you can take, because it is not, if you've been vaccinated when you were young, it doesn't stop you from having malaria, but it just means that it's giving you a fighting chance. So my belief is that the fighting chance that these vaccines that are coming will give us, let's embrace it, take it, and protect ourselves.
All right. Now, now that you have been through this experience and you're out, I recall that when you were talking earlier, you said you maintain the social distancing. In fact, you adhere to the protocols, but you still came down with COVID. So right now that you've kept COVID behind you, what extra measures are you going to take when it comes to precaution and safety?
Let me also mention that one of the things that the Yaba COVID Center did was that they gave me plasma. They gave me plasma of someone who had healed. And so I have antibodies introduced into me. And it is important to say that the lesson here is that we are all open to, and you can catch it the first, the second, and third time again. But it is just being careful. And like you said, I've taken I took all COVID. I'm an NCDC ambassador. I took all precautions. In fact, if I go for an event, I wear my face mask, I wear hand gloves, and I sanitize every now and then. But there are still chances of it's either your driver, your security, or the people you relate with, and people who don't take precautions will then affect you. Which is why they say you may wear a face mask. The other person that is not wearing a face mask is endangering you as well.
Exactly.
So it is for everyone to begin to be protective of themselves. We do not have, yes, again, I need to mention, we do not all have same immunity level. We do not all have same immunity level. Like the proverb says, if a rat runs through water and a lizard runs through water, the lizard will dry up quickly, but the rat will still be wet for a lot of time, a longer time. It does not mean that they did not run through water. It is about your immunity level. Your immunity level is what is actually vital.
Yeah.
And there's some people, okay, for instance, if you have a pre-existing condition, you are asthmatic, you are diabetic, you have high blood pressure, and it hits you. If you are asthmatic and it's respiratory, you have a problem. I'm having breathing problems, but I'm not asthmatic. I'm not hypertensive. I'm not diabetic. And so my recovery will be faster than the one of anybody that already had all those. That's why they said if you have pre-existing condition, it becomes worse.
That's true. Okay, Ali, let me put you on hold. I'm not letting you go yet, but let me put you on hold and then talk to my guests in the studio who are here who are watching you and listening to your experience. I have the CEO of CKN News here, Chris Kende-Nwandu. He is here. Chris, nice to see you. And I also have Olayinka Ola-Daniels here with me in the studio. Nice to see you too. Happy New Year. Now, you were listening and watching Ali narrate his story and his experience through COVID-19. He's out now and talking about extra caution. But in the midst of this, when you hear from people who have the experience, sometimes people believe, others still feel it is sickness for some people up there. Chris, I wonder what you make of this.
First and foremost, Ali, may I hail you. Congratulations. Because so many people have passed through this route.
Yeah, exactly.
And
didn't make it out.
So I congratulate you. And also, secondly, I also have to also thank him for coming out. At least.
Yeah, because narrating his story connects and sends a great message to a lot of people.
So for those who still don't believe, well, as he said, it is for them to either believe or not. But the issue for me is, I don't think it's no longer ignorance for me. Because if you say it's ignorance, then it doesn't gel with me, because consistently there have been information has been out there. And there's practically nobody in Nigeria that will say that he or she hasn't heard of COVID. They can call it anything. Some call it Cora, some call it Cora, some call it whatever. But the fact is that most people are aware. But the point, I think our problem is also our level of education. That is for me. Because if you say that, even among the elite, some people still don't believe.
Exactly.
I posted something some few days back, and some people say, CKSF don't join them. It be like say you don't go follow your friend Ali to collect. Ali and I have known for over close to 30 years, and we've been very close friends. But I've always told people that until the thing touch you, now you go know. And it's always like that. You know, there's this Igbo adage that when they carry the corpse of someone else, it looks like a log of wood to you.
Yeah.
But if it's your relation, then you feel it. All we can say is that people should be very, very careful. As Ali said, billionaires have died. Professors have died. Professor Ibidapo just died.
Exactly.
Professor Odekule just died. Those are the ones that we know. Out of every so-called big man that died, one, I am sure that over several other people would have died.
But we may not have heard their stories.
So Nigerians should be very careful. There's no conspiracy theory about this. If it's conspiracy theory, then Americans won't be dying in that numbers. Americans have the best of facilities. But now there are over 330,000 of 340,000 Americans that have died. In United Kingdom, Oyibo man no go play with such things. United Kingdom have just locked down practically the whole country because it is rising. So our people here should just don't think that, oh, this is a joke. It is not a joke.
All right. Now, Olayinka, the point is, you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, early last year, where there were projections that in sub-Saharan Africa, people were going to be dropping dead on the streets and all of that. That didn't happen eventually. Do you feel or think that when people saw that didn't happen, do you feel that they felt this disease is not for the black man or something?
Well, to an extent, I think that happened. Well, congratulations, Mr. Ali. Thank God for life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Happy New Year,
sir. It's clear that that happened because people did not see the promulgation or the proposal or what the projections of the outworld there. People didn't see it, so they think, Unfortunately for us, like Mr. Ali said, there was something about, or there is something about us as Africans, probably when we were growing up, there's a number of things we had taken that had also work on our body system. Especially
malaria medicine.
Malaria medicine and all that. In fact, that we still take. Like I said, because COVID and malaria may be close, COVID is more, but maybe close. Maybe that's the reason when people take malaria drugs, and this thing comes, and coupled with high immune system, reduces the incidence of this COVID thing. So people think, no, if there is COVID, look at America, look at UK, everybody is dying. How come in Africa we are not? So to them, they think because of that, the reason like that, and I think it is just sheer ignorance unfortunately for us. Yes, we are lucky that maybe we have something that is fighting this COVID, but does not mean it doesn't exist. Does not mean people are not dying. Because like you said and he said, the one we hear, the one we know is what we know. Number of people are even dying by day, and no one can attribute it to COVID. Because they just think, okay, people are dying. Okay, well, like some people believe, there's a belief of Allah Mikau, as in God gives and God taketh. They just believe, okay, the person just died. And they can't even attribute it to COVID because there's no, they didn't go to the hospital. Nobody knows what has happened. So,
okay, Ali, finally now, what would be your message to people out there? Because your being on air this morning alone goes a long way to telling your story and letting people know these things are real. But what would be your message out to people who still who are out there? What do we look at?
Okay, let me first say that if you know that you do not like hospital environment and you do not like to be in a bed for over 14, 15 days trying to recover from COVID, you need to stay away from places where you can catch it. Let me say my experience. I was in the hospital and I turned over about eight or 9 cylinders of oxygen. I was in room 4. There was a guy in room 5 who turned over like 22 bottles. Didn't make it. He didn't make it. The other room, in fact, because where I was VIP, there are people and the nurses are complaining that my driver did his test and went to the popular side. When he got there, he called to say, I would like to isolate at home. Okay, I would like to isolate at home. I said, why? He said, the case is terrible. So my advice to people is, you do not want to go through that. I was getting injections on my 2 sides every morning. I was getting on the shoulder. I had a cannula that was put inside my hand here. And so they were injecting me that every time. And I didn't have the face mask, the oxygen mask, which is something that I'm going to treasure and show to my people about how I survived COVID. It's the first apparatus that I have to show that I survived COVID. The other thing is, there's need for us to continue to pass this message on to people. COVID is real. Our friends are dying. We are hearing about it. And it's good that they are coming out now. But what I have really been very upset with is people who have had it, treated it, and kept quiet like there was nothing. Then now that we're not mentioning it and people like me are talking, people are now calling us to say, oh, I had it. My family had it. But Kofi, the comedian, had it. He and his family went through the horror and survived it. There are people who have gone through this thing and have survived it. And there's no need to be hiding behind the scene and saying somebody will stigmatize you. No. Say it. Come out and tell people you had it. Right. Like they said, maybe you have been paid. But you see, if there's anybody that is paying people that have had COVID and you eat my money, now God will punish you. because yes, let's just be clear. If that people that have had COVID that come out and say they've had COVID were paid, bring my money because I'm the one that went through that process. And because I was not paid, and I'm telling you something that would help you, I want you to take it serious. COVID is real, and we need to protect ourselves. Wash your hands, sanitize, make sure that you wear your face mask, and you do social distancing. It is not miracle. It is not anything.
It's practical. Thank you so much, Ali Baba, for sharing your experience and your story here. This will go a long way to passing a message to people out there. We really appreciate you, and thank you for also coming out, because your story will inspire a lot of people to come out as well, to letting people know, and also trying to see how they can help people around them. Thank you very much for your time on the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.